Okay.
I
All right. So
guess
listen,
you.
it's 11:02. Let's get started. So today, what we're going to work on, I received the property, and this particular property is located in Houston, Texas, and we're going to see if these numbers make sense, right?
Okay.
We're going to see if these numbers make sense. So now this property here is going to be uh, a townhouse, right? These are townhouses. Now, let me ask a question to the audience. Do you underwrite townhouses the same way you would underwrite an apartment?
It depends.
No.
I say it depends.
I don't think so.
Who said it depends? Raise your hand. No, you ain't got to raise your hand. You ain't got to do that. All right. So two people said, it was two that I do believe. Alicia was one. Was you the other Lawrence that said it
Yes.
depends? Okay.
Yes.
So tell me what it depends on.
To me, it depends on uh, is it a townhouse style building where the individual units are like kind of like garden style townhouse style structure, or is each individual unit owned separately?
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. Well, I'm gonna come back to you now. Hold on to that. And
Okay.
Alicia, why do you say it depends?
It depends on if it's ran like an apartment building. If it's ran the same, the square footage can be broken out very similarly, then I would underwrite it the same way, especially if it's run the same way. What makes it different is if all of the apartments have individual sizes, square footage, some have patios, some don't have patios, location, are they independent or are they together in the building like the apartments are? So
Gotcha. Okay. So the both of you have definitely stated some very excellent things, right? And there's even more when it comes to a townhouse, right? So townhomes are underwritten different than an apartment. Why are they underwritten different than an apartment? A townhome, one, Alicia said this one here. I think you said this too, Lawrence. Townhomes are individuals, right? So when they're individual, they're up and down, okay, up and down. They have upstairs, downstairs, okay. They're connected, right? They are connected. The square footage, and Alicia did say the square footage. The square footage for townhomes are going to be way larger than an apartment, way larger, right? So now I'm going to throw. I just wanted to point. I just wanted to throw those couple of things out there. But now I'm going to ask you another question. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to word this. So you're underwriting this townhome. Let's just say we're underwriting this townhome. What other piece of information are you going to need when you underwrite these townhomes?
An HOA budget.
yep.
Okay. Yep.
This is
HOA.
into that.
HOA. Is there one more piece that
NOI.
no NOI is going to be the same as even if you had to underwrite well, let me come back to that. Let me
So
back up on that. Let me back up on that.
are they
But
going to be sold or are they
before
going to
you
be rented?
wait, before you say anything down, Lawrence, before you say anything, I want you to remember this. Okay, apartments, complexes, they all, you know how it is, right? Everyone know an apartment complex. There's things you cannot do with apartment complex that you could do with a townhome. I want you to, what I just said right there, right? So, what other piece of information would you want that you don't require and is not even needed, don't even come up with an apartment complex? But there's one other piece of information that you would want when you're underwriting a townhome. Don't you say nothing, Moses, because I already know you know.
Operating expenses.
No.
Utilities. I would look at the utilities because those may be independently metered with the townhomes versus the apartments. Some apartments aren't always metered separately.
Nope, that's not what I'm looking for.
I know.
Have to do with the control of HOA.
Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. It's just a piece of information that you want to know, because this is going to help you to make sure that you're not overpaying.
The value.
The value of what?
The properties.
The value of the properties. Explain, elaborate on that.
Whether they're individual units or are there multiple, like in a apartment building?
All right, so remember now you said a couple of things, and I thought you was going in that direction when you said individual, but then you came back and said apartment. So have to look at the zoning and entitlement as well. Yep, but that's not what I'm looking for. So when it comes to an apartment building, an apartment complex, here we go. What is it that you look for when you underwrite an apartment? A price per what?
Square footage.
No, not square footage, not for an apartment.
Oh,
Price per what?
Unit.
Price per unit, right? Price per unit
Oh, okay.
in an apartment. So what one other piece of data would you want for the townhome? A townhome that's along that line.
Price per square foot.
No, not price per square foot.
Thought I said it. Price per
Come on, price per what?
per
Per unit.
per unit. That's what I said.
Okay, all right. Okay. So I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that.
Per door?
I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that price per unit. I'm gonna take price per unit, but because that is, you
Are
could
they
say
the
that.
same
You could say
parcel?
price per unit, but what I was looking for was price per townhome,
Okay,
Okay.
that's
right? So you said price per
that's
Same.
what
unit.
I meant.
I'm going to accept that. Now,
Okay.
why would you think you would want that one other piece of information, a price per townhome?
Because you can sell them separately.
There it is. There it is.
And you would want
So
to know if the values is more separately than together.
there it is, right there. There it is.
There you go,
Alicia
Alicia.
and Alicia just nailed the whole thing. She put the
Now,
final nail in
Luis
the
has
coffin.
something to add.
now the way
Good.
I would put it into the thinking cap, it's single family homes that are retailed separately than an apartment building.
Right.
Mm.
Thank you. See, that's why I didn't want Moses to say. Like, I know Moses. I know you already knew Moses. So, but now, so that is true. You would like to know. Okay, so if I wanted, and this is a strategic move. This is when you're really thinking ahead, like strategically. If I was able to separate these units, what would I get? What would they sell for? So not only are you going to do rent comparative, what are other oh, that's another question I should have asked. And I think I done gave it away already. I may not have. Let me ask it. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. When you're doing a comparative rent analysis for these townhomes, can you use, let's say the townhome is a 2-bed, 2-bath. Can, if there's an apartment that's right across the street, same zip code, right across the street, right across the street, that's a 2-bed, 2-bath, can you use that apartment as a rent comparative? Yes or no?
Typically not.
No.
Typically not. It's two different. They're two different
Correct.
things. I mean, townhouses usually
Two,
have yards. They have different amenities, so it's not really apples and apples.
there you go. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. So, absolutely, no, you cannot use an apartment for a townhome because townhomes are separate, they're different, their makes are different. Boom. So you will have to find other comparative townhomes with the square footage and see what those rents are going for. And see what if you wanted to sell those townhomes individually, what would they sell for? Now, all of this is strategically planned out because it's going to also depend on the neighborhood, who you're renting to, um, because you may not be able to sell them off, and you may have to use them, keep them as uh as rentals. Okay. All right. So we got some questions out of the way. Let's go ahead and bring up the underwrite for this particular asset. Okay.
This is for the townhome.
It's okay. So let's go full screen. So there are 24 townhomes, 2-bed, 1.5 bath. I put a Y, which is yes for oh, sorry about that, everyone. Sorry. There you go. Okay. All right. So 1105 square foot, 24. Let's say we're going to renovate 24. We're just saying that. We're just saying that. Okay. We may not. And okay. So the average rent is 1221. The highest rent is 1250. Okay. However, according to data, this rent is on the low side. If we were to, according to the data, this neighborhood could go up to 13 and change. And if it was to go up to 13 and change, then our right here, our renovate increase of 29 is going to increase to over $100, right? So let's say we was to take it, oops, wrong. Take that to 13. Hold on, I think it was 13. Where am I? 13. What was it? 13. Give me 1 second, everyone. It was 13 something, or was it more? Where are you? Oh no, I'm sorry, everyone. The low was 1250 for this zip code, for this area, for townhomes. The low is 1250. The high is 1800. That's the high.
Oh, it's a big gap.
Yeah, that's a very wide margin. So that means
Value add.
what the, not just that, but if you have for a particular zip code a wide range like that, you're going to need to narrow that search. You Let me stop sharing. You're going to need to narrow that search. That because the data just told me for the zip code. I didn't go into the neighborhood, right? You need to then search into that neighborhood and say, okay, we got a high of 1250. Hey, Robert, we got a high of 1250. We got a low of 18. We got a low of 1250, got a high 1800. Where's this particular property falling in? And once we hit that neighborhood, it's going to tell us what the rent is. Okay. So, So anyway, so we know we got the high and the low. And for right now, I just put the 1250 in. Of course, if we're going to renovate, we're going to need to bump that rent up. That's for sure. Okay. So now let's do this right here. Let's share the rent roll because I already did the. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Let me go back to sharing my screen. Okay. So this part of the work I already did, right? I already put this information in. I did not touch. Let me see. What did I do here? Nothing. And but I did come over here, right? I did come over to the performer. Okay. Now you're going to notice over here is all zeros, but you're going to notice I have this here. Something something should have your eyeballs almost about to bulge out your head. But
That
let's take a look at the rent
20%.
roll. That what?
The 20%.
You got that right. That 20%. And this is where we're going to come in with the rent roll. Where are you, rent roll? Right here. Sorry, I need to make an adjustment right quick. Wait. All right, here we go. I'm going to now share my screen. So here we are, right here. Tell me, what are you looking at? What, matter of fact, hold on a minute, I gotta make this a little bigger. 90%. I don't know if everybody can. Okay. Is that a little better for everyone?
No,
Yeah.
Okay, great. So you're looking at this rent roll. What tell me one question, only one, just one. Because I'm gonna ask for other questions, of course. But tell me one question that's that you would like to ask the broker. One question. Just one for now. And I'm gonna come back.
I would ask them why is the owner selling? Because typically owners start selling when it's occupied and not so many vacants. Especially seeing this.
Mm,
There-
excellent. Yep. I
There's
like
also
that.
there's also multiple Section 8 vouchers.
Mm-hmm.
So is this
Yeah.
a light tech building?
Okay. No, it's not a light tech.
Okay. And what's causing the vacants? Are
Mm-hmm.
those units being worked on?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that.
Quite a few vacants, huh?
Yeah, there's a total of 10
Hey,
out of 24, out of 24 units, out of 24 townhomes, 10 are vacant.
Yeah, that's almost half.
is this
Yeah,
value add?
it could be. Matter of fact, um, I'm looking at, you got section 8 in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You got 7 section 8, 10 vacants. My question is, what's going on? And how and why are you sending me a rent roll that's March 31st when this is June?
Right, for sure.
like bad management.
Hmm. Or are you managing it yourself?
Mm,
So number one, right? With this many vacancies, what would um let me full screen mode. There you go. With this many vacancies, and let's just look at only the vacancies for now. And what would you what would you our objective is going to be what with this property? What's going to be the objective?
What's the cost for the rehab to renovate the ones that are down?
flip it.
Flip it? What's the cost to renovate it? No, I'm not quite looking for that. But those things are going to come into play. But what is it that you want to do? We signed on the dotted line today. We just closed. No, yeah, you signed on the dotted line today. We closed this property. What would we want to do immediately?
Fill those
Fill the
vacancies.
vacancies.
Fill the vacancies if they can be filled. We're not going to worry about renovations, rehabilitation. What we're going to worry about is let's get these vacant units filled. Let's do it, right? So let's say that all 10 of the units are habitable. Let's just say they're all 10 are habitable. Okay. We're going to put people in there. That's number one. We may have to come down on the rent a little bit. You know, we may have to give them like 1,100. But if you notice, I don't know if you paid attention, and I don't know if you can see my underwrite, so I'm gonna have to flip back and forth. If you notice in my vacancy, Oh, no, in my concessions, you notice I put 5% first year, 5% second year, then come down because we're going to have to offer some concessions to hurry up and get these units filled.
Are
You
we
know,
though? Because I mean, based upon what you were saying, we're not even at market rate. Or we're
and
just
that's another
under.
thing, Alicia, that we're going to have to take a look at. We got to take a look and see where we could go with these rents.
Right.
I agree with you, Alicia.
Also, the quality of tenants, they might can't afford the rent.
Okay, so now I like what you said, Leo. I like what you said. So then, where are the tenants coming from?
You got to do some marketing and get the word out. These things are available.
Okay, but where are
The
these
community,
tenants coming from?
the nearby, within the town, the community.
Within that neighborhood. If we're going to try to, because what I did do, right? I wanted to see what the growth was for this particular zip code and the neighbor and the adjacent. I did not say neighboring, I said adjacent areas around it. This particular zip code had the greatest growth rate out of the adjacent, and there was only two other adjacents that border this particular zip code.
I think one of the important things would be to find out why there's so many vacancies.
And that's for sure. Why are there so many vacancies?
And then
Right?
if the people could they afford it, and then
Yeah.
late payments, who's, you know what I mean? Who, right?
Right.
So that's an issue too.
So I like what I'm hearing from everyone. Excellent. The thinking caps are on, right? The thinking caps are on. All right. So I like the fact that I'm not the only one that's talking. Everyone is participating. So okay. So anyway, now since we don't talked about the rent, I already did the average. Already put in the rent, the projected rent. However, we're going to have to do further research to see if that rent can come up a little more. Now, let's just say, okay, here we go. Let's say the rent can't come up anymore. It is what it is. It's $12.50.
And I want to know what's the NOI and what's the DSCR.
Mhm.
Is this a cash flowing? Will it be cash flowing for us? Right? At the price
Mhm.
that we pay and the income that we're getting or expect
Mhm.
to get.
Mhm. So 10 units are vacant. We don't even know why they're vacant, but we know that 10 are vacant. Are we going to be able to get a regular Fannie Mae Freddie Mac loan?
No.
Are we?
Right.
Don't you answer that, Robert. Uh, uh,
No.
are we going to? Okay, I think Alicia did say
No.
no. You can't. You can't get a Freddie Fannie loan. You got too many vacancies. You're greater than. Okay. Here we go. We're gonna have some fun, just a little bit. You are greater than what percentage for Freddie and Fannie for vacancy rate?
5%.
5%.
But what is that area saying? Is the area?
And there you go. And depending on the area, they will look at that. They may look at that too,
And what's
right?
our break even?
So I could tell you right now, we're coming into this asset, and the loan that we have, because there's not going to be enough income coming in. There may not be, right? Depending on what kind of deal we could spark with the seller. Sometimes for those first 6 months, it may not be no income coming in. No, this income coming in is just not enough to. It may not be enough to cover the debt. That's the reason why you may have to get what kind of loan?
Bridge.
Go ahead, Robert. Tell everybody what kind of loan we may have to get.
Bridge loan, probably.
That's right. We may have to get a bridge loan. Right now, a bridge loan is going to come in higher
Higher.
on that interest. It's going to come in way higher. All right.
Shorter
But
term, probably
shorter
a
term,
shorter term. They're
exactly.
not doing 30-year. So shorter term, but it bridges you to that next, maybe permanent financing.
Correct.
Bridge the gap.
So that's the reason why I asked that question. What would be the first thing we would want to do if those units, as long as those units are habitable, is to let's get these things filled.
Yeah, how do you get them filled? You got to do some advertising, marketing if you have a PM or yourself.
Mhm.
Self.
And you're right. So we have to well, before we even sign all documents, right? Contract and all of that, blah blah blah. We're going to have a strategy. We're going to have a plan going in on day one. What our objective is going to be, and if we're not managing this property, and if we have a property manager that's going to be managing this property, our property manager must be able to execute on the objective. And that is, as long as the units are habitable, to get those units filled, right? Now, if the units are not habitable, then what I would say is, let's go in, the units that are habitable, let's put people in those. Those that are not habitable, let's not try to go in there and put granite countertops and crystal glass and gold and all of that. Let's go in and try to do the bare minimum to get this place passed for inspection from Harris County Housing Authority. Why did I say Harris County Housing Authority?
Section 8.
Section 8.
Section 8. Section 8. And we could probably, go ahead and, I don't know why, I don't know why there are so many units vacant, but those are questions that I would definitely have to consult with the broker about. Why are there so many vacancies? And, are those units habitable? Okay. We would definitely
And ask the
need to talk.
management company what's the problem.
Well, guess what? They may not even let you talk to management because
Yeah.
they may be ready to fire management. They may be ready to fire management, but management may not know, right? But I will definitely say something's going on, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. That something is going on. All right, so we have came this far. We have put the income in. Let's take a look at the expenses. Now, let's take a look at the expenses. Hold on 1 second, everyone. Let me share the T12. And what we're going to do, everyone, we're going to take the T12. What did I say? Oh, there you go. Here we go. There you go. There you are. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the T12. Let me share my screen. Oh, that's the rent roll. That's the T12. All right, can everyone see the T12?
Yes.
Okay, great, fantastic, thank you. Okay, so just to let everybody know, I didn't see this property. I didn't open it up until yesterday. You're probably wondering what I'm doing.
Darryl, is there HOAs involved?
I don't see it. And now y'all can you see, can you still see my screen?
Yes.
All right. You see the T12 or you see something else?
The T12.
T12.
Okay.
It's an old T12 also, only up to March.
Yep. Okay, so there are no HOAs at all. No HOAs.
What state's this in?
Texas.
Okay.
The reason why I put the spaces here is because I didn't get a chance to hold on a minute. I didn't get a chance to do my totals right there. So copy here. Yeah. Oh, I didn't put a space between. I didn't put a space right here. Okay. All right. So there's no marketing, no payroll. I did see management. Oh, no management. The one thing that I would believe is he's running this. He has shifted the responsibility to the tenant. All right. Let's
That's why
see.
it's a mess.
136,971. All right, so that does still add up to 136,971. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead now and input everything on this expense over to the T12. I mean, oh, not the T12, but the performer. I think I was better off on the other one, right? Doing it the other way. So contract services. I'm trying to scroll it over, everyone. That's the reason. Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right. So contract services coming in at 1580, and that's nothing but pest control, cutting the grass. That's all that is. Repair and maintenance is coming in at 1402. Um, General admin is coming at 2405. Water. I'm going to add water, sewer, trash because that's all utilities. Water, trash, electricity. That's 22,742. And then we have insurance, 37,483. And property tax, 58,741. There you go. Now, let's again think about this. Are the expenses going to be the same?
No.
I mean, compared to an apartment. Would you expect the expenses to be the same compared to an apartment?
No, you wouldn't expect it to.
Correct. Alicia is correct. You wouldn't expect it to be the same. Um there's some things in an apartment complex that you are responsible for, and you may have that same thing with the townhomes, such as what? Common area. Like there may be a common area. Okay. Um, if you have parking lights on the property, then you're gonna have to pay for that utility. And I noticed his utility bill is 22,742, and that's including electricity, trash, and water, which that's something we have to pay for. We don't have a choice. All right. We have to pay for that. The other utilities, I could just about guarantee that those tenants are paying for their own utilities. Everything else, cable, the inside electricity and stuff like that. But as you can see right here, there's no management fee and no advertisement. We are incorporating an advertisement because we have to get these units filled. His contract services is coming at 1580, which is for grass and which is, hold on a minute, right there. Pest control and grass. That's a townhome. They're going to probably not going to have other contract services. So we may be able to reduce our contract services from 7,200. We may be able to reduce that down to, let me see, we put input for, let me see, what do we put for contract services right here? 300. We may be able to take that down to probably 150. Well, depending on, I'm just going to reduce that to 150 for now. Wow, could probably go lower. But I'm just going to leave it like that for right now. But if we get a property manager, we're going to have to incorporate what the property manager fee is. And since this is 24 units, um, don't expect no 3% for your management fee. You can expect something greater. All right. Uh, Probably around 8%, 9%. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and drop that in right now. Let's drop in management fee. Uh, Where is it? Right there. Let's drop this in right here. 8%. Total number of units occupied out of the 24 is going to be 14. All right. I'm still going to do 350 on reserve maintenance. These the construction of the age of this property is not that old. It's really 1985, but um you may even take that up a little more because it's a home. It's not an apartment. So you may even bump that up a little more to four. I'm just gonna say 400 for now, depending on what the property manager says. All right, I'm gonna come back to these inputs, but let's just continue for right now where we are. I don't want to get distracted because it's 11:48. But do you see do you see anything that may be outstanding that may look let me make sure. Yeah, that's still the T12. Oh, but you can't see my other screen. You couldn't see what the numbers I was putting in. You couldn't see anything else. Okay, so let's take a look at repair and maintenance. Do you think there's anything that's outstanding that will have you questioning anything? Take a
Big
look, everyone.
fluctuation. There's big fluctuation in monthly rents
Yep, big fluctuation. Well, not the rents. Let's take a look at the expenses,
or
repair and
total
maintenance.
their total income line.
Yeah.
Your rent is total income, top line 7, line
No,
8.
no, go to repair and maintenance.
Oh, you're down there. Okay. That's a big fluctuation also.
Okay. So out of which months would you question?
Yeah,
I'm glad.
2450, 2955, and 1108.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I would just, I would ask about these, like, um, did you replace the whole unit? Or, because 2450, that's the replacement of a whole unit. I mean, that I would well, let me just put it like this. And we only have like 10 minutes left. I would put it like this. That looks like a capital expense. If that is a capital expense, does that belong there with repair and maintenance?
No, that would go below the line.
That will go below the line. See that? So my repair and maintenance cost on my underwrite, I may let that stay the same, and I believe that the property manager would say, let that stay the same. Right here, repair and maintenance, where they have, I believe some of this is due to capital expense. So for repair and maintenance, right here, we're coming in at 350. I will let that stay. Payroll, we may be able to drop payroll down a little bit because we're doing an 8%. Where did I put that? We're doing an 8% on property management. Maybe we just bring it down just a little bit, but not by much. I wouldn't expect a lot. Okay. Acquisition fee, let's go 2% here. Asset management fee, 1%. 0. Let's do 3% here. All right. Okay. So utilities, I would probably run this round. I'll just bump it up a little bit to 24,000. It's going to utilities go up in price. I'm going to also put this at 40,000. Taxes, I would find out. Some of this may be able to come down, such as this right here. We may be able to drop that down drastically from payroll from 1,300, say maybe, yeah, 800. Okay. So what questions, because we got 7 minutes, what questions do you have? Now, don't worry, everybody don't rush the mic at the same time, right? But what questions do you have? Okay, let me rephrase the question. What would you like from me to ask the broker? I'm gonna ask it like that. What questions would you like for me to ask the broker? Don't be afraid. Come on.
The management company. What
Mhm.
why is it such a big problem? Because it's a big problem. Um, what is he doing? He or she
All right.
doing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
is there a management company or is it
So
being
so
self-managed?
Right.
So is there a management company?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because that's
Any
their job
correct.
to manage and maintain and make sure that there's a profit and so forth and so on. Right.
Correct. Correct.
Also, to the reason for the high vacancy.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So what's the reason for this high vacancy? Thank you. Thank you, Bridget. How you doing, Bridget?
I'm doing well, in you?
Doing very well. All right. Come on, everybody, help me out. I done got a brain freeze. I don't remember. I don't know what to ask the broker. I don't forgot everything.
Back
Let's
to
see
the
if there's any
fluctuation.
updated T12s.
Wait. I think two people was talking. What was that?
Go back to the fluctuation in the monthly rent. It was a
Okay.
high fluctuation every month.
Okay.
Current reporting.
Thank you. Okay. Current reporting. Is there any way you could provide us with a more up-to-date T12 and rent roll? Because that is from March. I would also ask him, since the rent roll is from March, are those units that are showing vacant on March, are they still vacant today?
Any new ones?
Right? Because wow, man, if they're still vacant from March, nobody doing nothing. There's no one trying to fill them units. Okay. What else? Any other questions? Moses, anything you want to know? Go ahead,
Also,
Bridget.
maybe you might want to compare the market vacancy to the property vacancy, which I don't think it would be that high. And also too, have they offered any concessions?
Excellent. Have they offered any concessions?
That's a good
And
question.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I could tell you right now, if it stays like that and we get the property, we may have to offer concessions, right? We may have to, and that's a strategic plan, right?
And how many
Part of
offers
the
they've gotten?
strategic plan. He may tell you, he may not. But okay, how many offers have come in so far? All right, that's a good one. That's good. How long this property? Let me see. How long has this property been on the market? Let me see. Hold on one second. I'll tell you. Let's see. How long has this property been on the market? Uh,
It's a reason for all those problems. You can believe it.
yeah. It's not telling me. It's not telling me the days
The
on
broker
market.
should tell you,
No, it should be right here.
right?
It
But the
should.
broker would have that
I think
information.
by me being on Zoom, it's taking a long. Oh, there it is. 68 days. So it's not that long. 68 days on market.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Is there a restriction on the number of Section 8 units that you can put in the property?
Okay. Is there restriction on number of Section 8s? All right. Anything else?
Maybe you can cut back on some of the services that's not being used.
What services?
Amenities or what have you.
May not even be any. Have a great week, guys. Okay, Robert.
Sounds like it's kind of bare bones, honestly.
Yeah, we're gonna need to get some boots on the ground over there to that property to take a look at it. We got some people that's in the Houston area that we can ask to check out the property, at least do a drive by, see what the neighborhood is like, right? For anybody, for any one of us start flying out there, uh, let's get someone that's already there to scope it out, right? Because they may say, "Yo, forget that. You don't want that." You know what I'm saying?
And then the neighborhood as well.
Oh, well, yeah, you're gonna find that out as soon as you're
Right.
scoping out the property, you're gonna be scoping out the neighborhood. So I'm gonna ask this last and final question, which is from my coaching program. And the question is, how, when should you when should you view a property? How often should you, yeah, when should you view a property to see if you want to see what this property look like and what this neighborhood look like? When should you do a drive-by?
Only before you sign a
When you
contract.
have interest.
After you
Not
look
quite.
at the
Come on,
neighborhood
be a little
and
more specific for me, right, Alicia?
yeah,
Be a little more specific. Alicia and I want to hear some specifics. When should you drive that property and that neighborhood? How about that? I just reworded the question.
I guess, like the gentleman said, as soon as you have interest.
Yeah, but how often? When? How often?
Oh, you want to
Yeah,
drive in the daytime, you want to drive at night, you want to, yeah.
there
Especially
you
at
go.
night.
Right.
right.
So you want to drive during the week, during the day, during the week, during the night, and on the weekend during the day, and on the weekend at night. You want to go out to that property. You want to see what's going on in that neighborhood. Get a mile out. When you get a mile out from that property, and you may even realize the difference before the mile. Because you will, if there's a difference as you're driving to that property, you usually going to see the difference in neighborhoods. Oh, I'm in a different neighborhood. And it's very obvious. Yep, check police reports. Yeah, that's definitely. It's going to be very obvious as you're driving. Oh, we just crossed the street. Whoa, take a look at this. Keep
Not in
going,
Kansas
right?
anymore. Not in Kansas
Exactly.
anymore.
You're going to know. Wow, these are beautiful homes over here. Wow. Now you cross the street. Yo, what happened?
Mhm.
Okay. So as you're driving, pay attention to let your awareness take over and pay close attention to that neighborhood when the changes take effect. If you have that time, you should do a drive, 1 mile radius around that property, north, south, east, and west. You want to know what's there.
I think
Okay.
also talk to other um, management companies about
Yeah,
the property.
that's going to come. Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And if it's safe,
And the people will tell you as well.
well, that's what I was just going to say. And if it's safe, don't hesitate to talk to the people. You're not. Don't go in there talking about you're going to buy the property. No, you go in there. Yo, I'm thinking about renting uh one of the units here. Can you tell me a little bit about it? What's the neighborhood like? What's the units like? I'm gonna tell you. Once you get a neighbor to talking, man, they'll tell you everything. Don't you dare come over here.
Right.
Right? All right. Well, listen, it's 12:03. I kept you 3 minutes past the hour. And thank you all for hanging in there. Right. So I'm going to keep everyone up. All those questions, I'm going to submit those questions to the broker. When we meet back here next Tuesday, I'm going to let you know what the broker said. Now, I'm going to also reach out to Richard Copeland, who is the lender, and see what would be the best strategy, bridge loan or whatever, for this particular deal, because we can't get Fannie and Freddie. It's not going to happen. Okay.
Hey,
So
Darryl, just real quick, I like to do a 6 a.m. stop at the property. I like
yeah,
to see how many of my tenants are actually going to work and being active and not just sitting at the property, especially if it's a new acquisition.
yeah,
You want to know what type of collection rate you're going to have, and you can tell by seeing your tenant's activity when it comes to a regular work day.
yeah. Totally agree. Totally agree. I agree with Moses on that. And that's no reason why you should be going out to drive by during the day, at night, weekend, weekday, because you'll see a lot of cars in the parking lot if nobody working. You know what I'm saying? So, but listen, it's 12:05. Y'all have a fantastic week. I'm gonna see everyone back here on the commercial underwriting show next Tuesday at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're going to pick up from where we left off, put in the rest of the numbers, and then we're going to say, do we want this property or no?
The
Stay
numbers
cool,
have to
everyone.
make sense.
That's right. Stay cool, everyone.
Have a
Thank
good
you all
one,
for
everybody.
coming. Thank you all for coming.